What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report, and welcome back to a brand new video where I'm here to tell you guys everything about how the Heat, in my opinion, can bounce back from this series and talk about some of the things that are going on in the series, some of the players on our team, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys stay the length of the video if you guys are interested in all that information. And yeah, lastly, make sure y'all leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. We're only 4 subscribers away from 550, so let's get there, man. You guys are absolutely insane for getting me to where you guys have got me so far. So shout out to you guys, and let's get right into it. So the Miami Heat obviously are down 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks. So a lot of attention has come onto the 2 stars, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. A lot of people asking, what's happening to them, why are they doing this, what can they do better. Listen, let's talk about Bam first, because Bam is a very interesting one. Bam, when I was watching some of his highlights last year in that playoff series against the Bucks, I noticed a couple things. And originally I thought it was all on Bam, but I think it's half on Bam and half on Spo that he's been playing like this in the playoffs. Now let me tell you why I think it's half on Spo. Spo should get half the blame, because whenever Bam has the ball on offense, he's always supposed to create a play for others, and he's forced to wait for the dribble handoffs and set screens to open up for the shooters, or wait for the cutters, or any of that stuff. And all of that stuff. And I think this is on the coaching staff, because I don't think they have developed his aggressiveness. Like they haven't really developed his offensive game as far as when to do what. Like, he's not a player that is aggressive by nature, so the coaching staff really has to develop him. Because when he was drafted as a hustle player, as a big man who can defend and catch lobs, right? That's what he was drafted on. All these mid-range jump shots that he's been adding into his locker this past season, it's been a new addition for him. He hasn't really had the, he hasn't really been able to figure out, and he hasn't really gotten the guidance of when to use this, or if he should use it at all, or if he should continue looking for dribble handoffs and screens and shooters and cutters and all that stuff, right? So I think that part goes on the coaching staff. But when I looked at the Heat versus Bucks film last year in the playoffs, Bam was pulling that thing. He was shooting the mid-range with a lot of confidence, and that was part of the reason we won that series, is because Brook Lopez was giving him a lot of space, like he is right now. Brook Lopez is not doing anything different. It's just Bam is not shooting it, which is, I'm wondering why is Bam not shooting it now when he was shooting it back then, when he didn't really have that mid-range jumper that much, as compared to now. Like, now Bam's mid-range shot is a lot better than it was last year. So I'm just kind of wondering why he's not shooting it. I think it has to be the coaching. There's no way that Bam was shooting it last year and this year against the same team, against the same defense, he's not shooting it. Like, it has to be something that he's being told by the coaching staff. Like, you got to get your players involved. I think Jimmy was doing this on purpose, man. I think Jimmy was trying to send a message to Bam and the rest of the players that you got to start being aggressive. I think he was trying to force feed Bam the ball. I think he was trying to take a back seat to make sure that Bam got onto his game. And then you saw that in the post-match interview, where he said maybe, it's cool to try to get your players involved, but maybe you have to start, taking some initiative yourself. He's talking about himself there. And he's talking about Bam in a way too, because Bam is also trying to get his players involved as well. Them two are going to have to start stepping up. It's cool to get your players involved, but it's just not going to work like that. Not when you're down 2-0. Like, you need to start, getting in your bag and winning us these games. We can't rely on our shooters or anyone else besides our 2 best players to show up and show out night in, night out. Like, that's what we need Bam and Jimmy to do. I think they'll do it. Game 3, I expect a little bit more fight from the Heat. Like, whether we win or not, that is relevant, but like, that's not something that I'm overly concerned about because we're already down 2-0. So in my mind, the series might as well already be over unless we win game 3. I just want to see effort. I just want to see something from the guys that shows me that, you know, there's something that can be taken from this season, which is not, you know, complete disappointment, right? So those are what I have to. So yeah, those things are what I have to say about Bam and Jimmy. I think that Bam, you know, half of what Bam is doing, I think, comes from the coaching staff, and half of it comes from his own aggressiveness. I think once he sorts that out, he's the more interesting one here. I'm not concerned about Jimmy whatsoever. Not concerned about Jimmy whatsoever. Another thing that we're really struggling with is playmaking. You guys can probably count on your hand, on one hand, the amount of lobs that we've thrown this series. And in these first 2 games, how many lobs have we thrown? Absolutely zero, right? I mean, absolutely nothing. Like, we haven't thrown any lobs. If we did, I probably missed it. I haven't seen any lobs. Last year we were getting lobs all the time, you know. And I think this, you know, I love K Nunn, but he's a scorer, he's not a playmaker. So maybe this is where you want to have Gordon start in game 3, because he's a guy who can get his players involved, but he doesn't have to be our focal point, so it doesn't really hurt us when he's trying to get players involved. Like Jimmy, I love Jimmy, but sometimes he can try to get his players involved too much that he kind of forgets that he's our focal point offensively as far as our best player. If Jimmy is scoring how Jimmy can, and Bam is scoring how Bam can, and Gordon is setting them up, I don't think we have a problem then. So I think K Nunn, I love K Nunn, but I think Gordon has outplayed him in both these games so far. I think Gordon is a better playmaker than K Nunn. So I think Gordon should be the guy who's starting in game 3. Just to get some, you know, just to get some stuff going, man. Like, the only playmaker we have in our standing lineup are Jimmy and Bam. Those are the only 2 playmakers we have. You know, K Nunn is playing as a standstill shooter. I have not seen K Nunn drive more than 3 times this entire series. I don't know why he's doing that. I don't know why we're allowing him to do that. Kendrick Nunn is a force when he's driving to the rim, not when he's settling for contested threes. That's not Kendrick Nunn's game. Duncan, I'm not worried about. You know, Duncan's Duncan. If he shoots the ball, he'll shoot the ball. If he makes them, he makes them. If he misses them, he misses them. We can't do anything about that. He's the last of our concerns right now. Trevor, again, man, I think Trevor had been a great pickup, but I just think that he has his shot is just not there right now. His defense is, I think Trevor is a way better defender on guards than he is on Giannis. I think Bam needs to be on Giannis. I think Trevor is a guy who you can put on Chris Middleton and say, okay, cool, guard Chris Middleton, or put on Jrue Holiday, guard Jrue Holiday. Giannis is a bit, you know, it could be a little bit of a stretch for Trevor to guard. I don't think Trevor is, you know, that well equipped to guard Giannis. And this is no disrespect to Trevor. I think Trevor's had a great career, but number 1, he's getting there in age, and number 2, I just don't think he has the strength. You know, Jay Crowder wasn't as, you know, tall as Trevor, but he definitely was stronger in my opinion. So yeah, Trevor, I think, you know, he's fit into this team really well when we picked him up, and he kind of was a steal at the deadline, but he's just not really contributing in the series, which is why I would start Bam at the 4 and play Dedmon at the 5. I saw someone in the comment section say, you know, I like that idea, but we don't have a backup center. I forgot your name, bro, but shout out to you for commenting. Respectfully, I disagree. It's from Unreleased. Sorry, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's from Unreleased. Shout out to you, Unreleased. I respectfully disagree with you, though. I think, you know, it's more important to get the starting lineup. You know, the bench. Bobby Portis is the least of our concerns right now. You know, I don't think Bobby Portis is the reason we're losing the series. So having Precious play backup center, I don't think that's gonna kill us. Especially if we outplay their starting lineup. That's where we have to start from. We can't really stop everything. It's not, you know, there's not really one solution that we're gonna be having, and that's gonna slow down the Bucks completely and propel us on offense. Like, we're down 2-0 for a reason. Like, they've outplayed us in both these games. Game 1 probably not as much, but game 2 definitely. So there's not like one thing that you can say, oh, we gotta do this and it's gonna be fine. Like, that's not how it works. So I just think that's a start, playing Bam and Deadman together. And Deadman actually said that in his interview. He said, I like playing with Bam, and I hope that Spo will have us playing together more. And so he knows that it's better. So I think that him and Bam should be playing together. You can have Precious play backup 5. I'm not too fussed about that. If you don't think Precious is ready, you can play Bielitsa at backup 5. You know, throw UD out there. Like, the backup 5 position is the least of our concerns right now. We have to stop the leaking of, you know, their starting lineup, and we have to make sure that Bam is on Giannis, and we have to make sure that Bam is aggressive. So having a guy next to him that can occupy Brook Lopez while he's shooting mid-range jump shots is better. Off the bench, Tyler still hasn't given us anything this series. He's going to have to give us something. Like, it's kind of concerning right now. I get it. He's not really in a rhythm. You know, he's not really playing that many minutes, but still, like, what he showed us last year is not what he's showing us right now in the playoffs. I think he ended the regular season really well, but, you know, in 18 minutes, I'm expecting more than 4 points and 3 rebounds, because Tyler is a guy who can score. He is a guy who can score flat out, and he's not showing that right now. For whatever reason, he's not showing that. So yeah, Tyler's gonna have to get going. Iguodala is just not really looking the same player that he was last year. You know, I think that he's just no threat at all on the offensive end. His ball handling has regressed a lot. You know, I think that it's gonna be time. You know, the time is gonna have to come soon where Andre Iguodala says goodbye to his career and goodbye to the Heat, because I'm pretty sure he has a $15 million team option this year. We better decline that, because I'm not trying to pay him $15 million. I love Andre, but he's just not got, you know, what it like. The IQ is gonna be there when he's 100 years old. He's one of the smartest players in NBA history, no argument whatsoever. But as far as, you know, his skills on the court, his athleticism is, you know, decreased tremendously. His shooting is decreased tremendously. His ball handling has decreased tremendously. The only thing that has remained of Andre Iguodala that I've seen, you know, when he was playing with the Philadelphia 76ers with Chris Webber in his rookie season, is that he is a very, very good player on defense, and that's never going to change. You know, his defense is never going to change, and his IQ is never going to change. But on the offensive end, it's like, sometimes, no disrespect, but it's kind of like having a black hole on there, which is why, you know, next year we're going to have to develop some of these guys that we haven't been playing. Like, when is KZ going to play? KZ's going to have to get developed, and I think KZ will have to get put in that Andre role, and then slowly he can build his career up, because we've had KZ for 2 years now. You know, he was in the same draft class as Tyler. He was a second-round pick. We traded 3 second-round picks. I don't know if you guys know this. We traded 3 second-round picks to move up to take KZ Okpala at the 4th pick of the second round. We haven't really seen him. We have not seen him, you know, whatsoever. He's been playing garbage minutes here and there. KZ is someone that the Heat said they think he has higher potential than Tyler. Some Heat's front office member had leaked. It was leaked that some Heat front office member had said this. We haven't really seen him be developed. So we got to develop these young guys. Precious, you know, KZ, all these guys are going to have to get developed for next year. But coming back to this series in particular, like I said, Tyler off the bench, he has to give us something. I would like to see a little bit more of Bielitsa, but I don't think that's going to happen. Apart from that, I don't really think there's anything more for us to do. Like, I talked about everyone, like all the, you know, important players who are taking part in this series and how they can be better. It just starts off with Jimmy. Man, like 10 points is unacceptable. Like, you know, he should know better. I don't think our offense was terrible. I just think our defense was like god awful. Like this game, I think, you know, if Jimmy has 10 points and we're scoring 98, then I'm not mad. But it just looks so bad because we gave up 132 on the other end. And what is that? Like, yeah, that's 34 points. So we got absolutely mauled against the Bucks. And one more thing we have to address in the offseason is playmaking, man. Like I said, Goran, he's going to have to start right now in the playoffs, I think. But in the offseason, we're going to have to get a younger guy who can play defense and who's a playmaker, because we need that. You know, K-Nun is a very good scorer, but on the defensive end, he's just too small. He's not strong enough. Like, he got bullied a lot of times by Drew Holiday. And I just think that he's not the playmaker that Goran is. But I don't think Goran is the answer either, because he's getting up there in age. Like, plugging in, like this is what I didn't like about the Ariza situation. Like, I loved what Ariza has done for us so far, but plugging in a 36-year-old guy into our starting lineup of a team that has championship aspirations is not really going to cut it. It's just a temporary solution. It's a temporary fix. We haven't really found a permanent solution at that power forward position. Jay Crowder was also a temporary solution because we let him go. So, and Goran Dragic, if we put him in the starting lineup, he's a temporary solution as well, because he's about 35, 30. He's about to turn 36 next year too. So we need a lot of roster reconstruction in the offseason. I think we'll do it. I think we have to address power forward. You know, Trevor is amazing. I love Trevor, but I just think that he's not a permanent solution. He's not. You know, Jimmy, Bam, permanent solutions. Duncan, I'm not mad at Duncan. I think Duncan's always going to be important to us. But the point guard and the power forward position are going to have to be fixed. And it cannot be by 35-year-old veteran guards who, after 2 or 3 more years, are going to be out of the league. We need future. We need players that are going to be part of the future, because Jimmy and Bam need players to help them. And we got to address it in the offseason. But I think that's where we're going to wrap it up here. There's a pretty longer video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys stayed through it. I did a lot of ranting, a lot of, deep diving into what I think we should do, not only for this series, but of next season as well. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, make sure y'all subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, we're 4 away from 550. So let's get to that mark, and like the video if you guys are OGs, and comment down below what your thoughts are about my video. I'll see y'all later as always, man.